They warned residents to open their windows. Then the ground shook like an earthquake. Israel had just detonated what it says was Hezbollah's largest tunnel ever found in Lebanon. The blast was so powerful, it triggered seismic alerts across the north. So if one tunnel shakes the region like that, how much still lies underground? The Israeli military detonated what it called the largest Hezbollah tunnel ever found in southern Lebanon on April 28th. The explosion was so powerful that it triggered earthquake alerts across northern Israel. The tunnel was located near the Lebanese village of Qantara, and the IDF did something unusual before setting it off. Hours before the blast, residents across a wide stretch of northern Israel, from Rosh Hanikra on the Mediterranean coast all the way east to the Golan Heights, received a direct warning from the military. The message told them, in plain language, what was coming.
In several hours, IDF Northern Command will destroy a large weapons infrastructure that was located during the war and prepared for detonation in recent days. Communities near the blast zone will receive separate instructions. However, the echoes of the explosion may be heard throughout the Galilee and even in the Golan Heights.
At 5:30 in the evening, residents of Misgav Am, Manara, Margaliot, and Metula were told to stay indoors and away from large windows. In Kiryat, Shmona, and Kfar Giladi, people were advised to open their windows to reduce damage from the blast wave. The mayor of Kiryat Shmona, Avichai Stern, personally urged residents to stay away from windows and balconies. Then, at 6:03 p.m., the ground shook. The Geological Survey of Israel's alert system registered it as a seismic event. Independent earthquake warning systems in schools and private institutions fired off their sirens. The Energy and Infrastructure Ministry confirmed the detection shortly after. This was not the first time an IDF detonation in Lebanon set off earthquake alerts in Israel. A similar incident had happened before. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the destruction of the tunnel directly, and his language left little room for interpretation.
They blew up a massive Hezbollah terror tunnel today. We are destroying their terror infrastructure, we are killing dozens of their militants, and more is yet to come. We are operating within the security zone, south of the Litani, north of the Litani, in the Bekaa, in northern Lebanon. And a few weeks ago, I instructed a special project to eliminate the drone threat. It will take time, but we will take that down as well.
A ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon was agreed to on April 16th and extended by 3 weeks just days ago. And yet, the Prime Minister of Israel is publicly describing active military operations across multiple regions of Lebanon, including north of the Litani River, well beyond the agreed buffer zone, and pledging to continue them. Israel began its ground and air campaign in Lebanon on March 2nd, following Hezbollah strikes into Israel in retaliation for an attack in Iran that killed Hezbollah's supreme leader. Since then, more than 2,500 people have been killed, and over 1 million have been displaced. Less than 24 hours after a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah officially took hold, Israel struck. The Israeli military confirmed it carried out multiple strikes in southern Lebanon, targeting what it called Hezbollah operatives who had, in its words, violated the ceasefire understandings. One operative was killed in a drone strike while traveling on a motorcycle between the southern Lebanese towns of Kunain and Beit Yahoun. Then, Israeli forces hit a Hezbollah tunnel shaft after spotting militants entering it. Artillery fire followed in support of ground troops still operating several kilometers deep inside Lebanese territory. The IDF was direct about its position.
Actions of self-defense and the removal of threats are not limited by the ceasefire.
Now, that's a significant line, because just a day earlier, President Donald Trump had said Israel was prohibited from bombing Hezbollah targets. A US official then walked that back, clarifying that while offensive operations were off the table, defensive strikes against planned, imminent, or ongoing attacks were still permitted under the terms of the deal. Israel also disclosed that just minutes before the ceasefire took effect Thursday night, its elite Shaldag unit had seized control of a strategic ridge north of Mount Hermon, a last-second land grab, approved personally by IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, carried out as the clock ran down. Meanwhile, Hezbollah is not staying quiet. Naim Qassem, the group's Secretary General, issued a blunt warning this weekend. He said the resistance fighters would remain in the field.
A ceasefire means a complete halt to all hostile acts, and because we do not trust this enemy, the resistance fighters will remain in the field with their fingers on the trigger, and they will respond to violations of aggression accordingly. There is no ceasefire by the resistance alone. It must be by both sides. We will not accept a repeat of the 15 months of patience toward Israeli aggression while waiting for diplomacy that achieved nothing.
Senior Hezbollah official Mahmoud Kamati echoed that defiance at a press conference in Beirut's southern suburbs, dismissing Lebanon's planned direct talks with Israel as
a failure, weak, defeated, and submissive negotiations. The resistance is the one that imposes. We are the land, and we are the ones who draw up the decisions.
Meanwhile, Lebanon's President Joseph Aoun and Prime Minister Nawaf Salam were on Saturday preparing for what would be the first direct negotiations with Israel in decades, a moment Hezbollah wants no part of. The ceasefire is holding, just barely. Israel is striking, Hezbollah is warning, and Lebanon, caught between the two, is trying to negotiate a future that neither side seems ready to let it have. As Lebanese President Joseph Aoun signalled openness to negotiations with Israel, Hezbollah made clear what it thought of that prospect, with a direct threat. Senior Hezbollah official Nawaf al-Musawi has warned that if Aoun met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, as Trump had suggested, he would lose his standing as president. Al-Musawi added that legitimacy, in his words, comes from within Lebanon, not from outside.
If Aoun submits to Trump and meets with Netanyahu, he will lose his status as president. Who said the Sunni majority in Lebanon, from which Prime Minister Nawaf Salam comes, would agree to sign a peace agreement with Israel? Hezbollah's goal is not a ceasefire, but a complete withdrawal of the Israeli army and the unconditional return of displaced Lebanese.
Aoun hit back, urging his countrymen to ignore what he called voices of doubt and betrayal, and vowed that no agreement would be reached that harms Lebanese sovereignty.
We are confident we will save Lebanon. Negotiations do not mean, and have never meant, relinquishing any rights. I affirm, as a commitment and a promise, that there will be no agreement that harms even a small part of the nation's land. Do not allow voices of doubt and betrayal to sow division. We will rebuild the nation hand in hand. All Lebanese are in the same boat.
The standoff came against a broader backdrop of last-minute pressure. According to Iran's Tasnim news agency, Tehran had set a deadline of its own. An informed military source told the agency that Iran had planned to strike Israel at 8 p.m. local time on April 17th if a ceasefire in Lebanon was not announced. Missile launchers, the source said, had already been readied. Trump announced the Lebanon ceasefire at around 7 p.m. Tehran time, 1 hour before Iran's stated deadline.
Iran had decided to attack the Zionist regime of Israel at 8 p.m. last night if Trump's commitment was not implemented. All the necessary preparations had been made for the possible attack, in such a way that even the missile launchers were put into operation.
Lebanese media reported separately that Aoun had firmly refused to speak with Netanyahu, even by phone, despite Trump's push for a face-to-face meeting in Washington within, in his words, a week or two. The ceasefire holds for now, but the tensions in the troubled sand of the Middle East refuse to cool down.